What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. It's been a hot minute since my last episode. I got a dog. He's over there. His name's Dexter. I named him after my wife and I's one of our shows we were watching a lot when we were dating, and I don't know, it's a great show. Anyways, Intellivision has an update. Phil Adams, CEO, taking over for Tommy Tallarico. All is well at the house of Intellivision. Apparently. JT. So, Intellivision randomly, after months of silence, comes out with this email to the backers to let us know that the Intellivision is indeed not canceled, and Intellivision Corporation as a whole is not entering Chapter 11 bankruptcy. What they are doing is apparently trying to create a few, they didn't say how many, just initial test production run, just to make sure everything's working, bells and whistles and lights are functional, you know, that kind of stuff. And apparently they ran into an issue that they misdiagnosed and have since fixed, which would be fine if this happened 2.5 years ago. Better late than never is something you could say if it's like, you know, a few months late, but this is, we're teetering on, I mean, moving on almost half a decade now since this was initially announced. And when it was initially announced, it almost sounded like it was complete. But be that as it may, ultimately, okay, they are progressing on this, which is good. I mean, I'm not angry at that. I'm still forever frustrated at the misleading mistruths from Tommy Tallarico and how this was on the launch pad ready for takeoff 2 years ago almost, and we're still in a holding pattern. I guess my frustration with this whole thing is, and I said this like 6 months ago in a video, it's still just talk. There's still no actual tangible evidence of anything. Why can't they share pictures? Why can't they show off what they're doing? I remember when the Atari VCS was actually hitting the production lines and they were showing the chipsets. They were taking pictures of it and showing the factory in China that was doing the initial test run. And I questioned that, but it ended up being real and true. And I learned from that to be like, okay, maybe if they share pictures from this, it's going to be legitimate. But nothing. Just trust me, bro. Another trust me, bro. From a long line of endless trust me, bros at Intellivision. So that's what they're working on currently. It's such a weird update. Like, why would you make an update now without anything tangible? Like, if they were starting a production unit, production line of these for test purposes, whatever, again, it's still nothing, but why wouldn't you send the email out to people then to say, hey guys, we're actually going into production for these test units? They waited, which, okay, that's fine. I would have waited too. But I also would not have sent an email now. Like, what does now accomplish? What's the rush? You've had forever to do this. What's the rush to come out with an email to tell people we're still alive? And then the other points they were making, points 2 and 3, by all accounts that I could understand, were basically the same thing, just two different companies putting their games on multi-platform, which they told us about multiple times previously, after years of telling us that Intellivision was going to be all exclusives because the game console and the controllers were so unique that only these games could be played on the Intellivision, and that was the main selling point for it. Obviously, business needs change, finances change, and decisions change based off the economic environment. I understand that. But still, the original promises that were made were butchered to hell, including the price of this thing. But for this thing to actually make it to market would be a miracle of miracles. Imagine walking into a Walmart and seeing an Intellivision Amico. What would your first thought be? How the hell? What deal did they sign with the devil to make this? Like, what horrendous options on this deal did they create to make it happen? Why did they make it happen? What was their motivation behind, after losing everything, still moving forward? In a way, it's kind of admirable. In a certain light. If you want to trust the place that their heart was in, it's admirable. But I'm at the point right now where I'm past put up or shut up. I'm confused at why they sent this email update. It's words again. It's a B. It's more words. I don't know who they're talking to anymore. Well, what's the point of this? What is it accomplishing? Who are they trying to convince? It couldn't possibly be investors at this point. I hope not. I don't even know anymore. I find it very interesting, on a side note, Tommy still hasn't reached out since that last conversation we had, like, was it 4 or 5, 6 months ago? I don't even know. To apologize, to set the record straight, to try. Just completely disconnected. And in a certain light, I understand that, because he's probably like, he's just going to make a video and talk trash about me, so I can't talk to Smash JT anymore. It's like, I get it. But on a human level, I do find it a little bit... I guess I put it this way. If roles were reversed, I would do everything in my power to set the record straight. If I was coming from a place of good. And that's what's really concerning about all this. But yeah, Intellivision has an update. Consoles are being produced, initial line of them, if you want to believe that, which they, by the way, already told us they've started pre-production on units, and it was an exciting announcement 2 years ago. And if pre-production had started a year and a half ago, whenever they sent that email, wouldn't they have been at this point back then if they were being honest? So obviously they weren't. And if that's the case, why should we believe them now? I'm in a state of confusion. Like, what motivated them to send this out? Does Sudesh need an update? Did he say, hey, you guys better be still working on this for the money I gave you? Or I don't know. It's just very strange to me. And Phil Adam, the CEO of Intellivision now that took over for Tommy Tallarico, who reached out to me and asked me if I ever have anything to ask him, that I have his cell phone to talk to him directly. I've reached out to him like 4 or 5 months ago, asking him some pretty straightforward questions, and he ignored me, ignored my voicemail, ignored my text messages. I'm like, that's just kind of weird, because if I tell someone to reach out to me, if they have questions, I would answer them. I don't know. I don't know what to even think anymore. Just the characteristics behind the people running this organization are questionable at best. And as I said in my video back when I was first coming to grips with the reality of the situation, there's nothing more I would love to see than to be proven wrong with all of this. I would love to walk into a Walmart or a GameStop. After they screwed over GameStop, I wouldn't expect them there, but I would love to walk into a game store or department store, or whatever, and see one of these. I would be ecstatic. I would feel like through everything, through all the negativity, all the naysayers, all the doubters, including me turning into one, that they overcame it and did it. And the why that I'm so confused about, the question that I'm asking why, the answer is because they had the passion to bring it to fruition. That it truly wasn't about the money. That it truly wasn't about making all this fame and fortune and attention. It was truly about their passion in gaming and bringing it to fruition. I don't know. I find that very hard to believe. If ultimately the games that were supposed to be exclusive for this dream end up going multi-platform anyways, then again, goes back to the why. But that's a question that only Tommy and Phil, and to a certain extent John Alvarado, can answer themselves. Coming to grips with the reality of, where are you guys with all of this? Is this truly a passion project, or was it a scam gone bad that was just mismanaged to hell? I feel like they bit off way more than they could chew, to such an extreme that it almost made them all look like criminals. And I'd like to think that's not who they are. But again, it just comes to the fact of they need to prove that they're not. And maybe that's the answer to the why. They're trying to prove that they're not criminals, that they actually do want this to come out for the reasons why they went into it in the first place. Until then, though, just more words. Status quo from Intellivision. I would love to hear from Tommy Tallarico. I would love to see what's going on in his life. I think it's really odd that he just ducked out of the limelight after his father unfortunately passed away. I'm sure he's got a lot going on in his life. We all do. But, I mean, hell, look at me. I'm still making time to get out there and tell people, hey, I'm here. Here's what I think about stuff. Here's why. I feel like that's what this society is. That's what YouTube is. That's what gaming is. The community, the communication. We all won't agree. Actually, in gaming, it's kind of rare these days to agree on anything, but just to be able to communicate and get your words out there without just giving up. I thought Tommy was more of a fighter than just someone that would just, I don't know, just quit. And that's not reverse psychology of trying to get Tommy to talk. It's just me being honest. I'm surprised that he just kind of ducked out of the limelight and rode off into the sunset with that investment money. That's what it looks like. I don't know. That's the update. Much love, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
Smash